Awakening in the depths. The descent into the abandoned mining shaft had taken 7 hours longer than projected. Dr. Jared Finch wiped sweat from his brow as he studied the holographic mapping display glowing softly in the darkness. Behind him, the rest of the research team moved cautiously through the ancient tunnel, their footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. "This doesn't match any known Vesperian architecture," whispered Dr. Nora Wells, running her scanner over the intricate geometric patterns carved into the walls. "These markings predate their civilization by at least 50,000 years. Commander Theo Whitlock raised his hand, signaling the team to halt. 20 years of Special Forces experience before joining the Galactic Research Initiative made his instincts invaluable. "Movement ahead," he murmured, his enhanced vision implants scanning the darkness. The tunnels had been stable for millennia until their expedition triggered a series of localized tremors. Small rocks continued falling from the ceiling as they ventured deeper into the complex. "Whatever's in there is responding to our presence," observed technician Raj Patel, monitoring energy fluctuations on his portable scanner. "These readings don't make sense. It's like the entire chamber ahead is breathing." Dr. Finch moved forward, drawn by scientific curiosity. The Vesperian records mentioned a guardian they discovered and subsequently reburied. Something they believed too dangerous to harness but too valuable to destroy. Those same records mentioned they lost an entire colony trying to control it, Commander Whitlock reminded him grimly. Perhaps some discoveries should remain buried. The passage suddenly widened, opening into a vast chamber that their lights couldn't fully illuminate. As they cautiously entered, motion-activated illumination triggered along the walls, revealing ancient technology seamlessly integrated with the natural rock formation. And there, suspended in a complex web of energy restraints at the center of the chamber, hung what appeared to be a massive biomechanical entity. Its form was vaguely humanoid but clearly engineered for war, armor plating integrated with what looked like synthetic muscle tissue, dormant weapon systems visible along its limbs. Despite its clearly artificial nature, there was something organic about its design, as though it had been grown rather than built. "Remarkable," breathed Dr. Wells, approaching despite Commander Whitlock's cautionary gesture. "It appears to be powered down but not deactivated. Some kind of stasis protocol." The entity was massive, nearly 15 feet tall, its surface covered in symbols similar to those lining the tunnel walls. Most striking were the restraints, dozens of crystalline pylons surrounding it, projecting what appeared to be neural inhibitor fields. "The Vesperians didn't build this," Dr. Finch said with certainty, circling the suspended giant. "They found it, just as we have. These restraints are their work, but the entity itself is far more ancient." Security Officer Livia Drake kept her pulse rifle trained on the dormant machine. "Sir, recommend immediate withdrawal and orbital bombardment of this location. Whatever this thing is, the Vesperians went to extreme lengths to contain it." Dr. Finch shook his head, already setting up scanning equipment. "And destroy potentially the most significant archaeological find in human history. The Vesperians were an advanced civilization with technology we still don't fully understand. If they couldn't destroy it, they must have had good reason." As the team established a preliminary research perimeter, Technician Patel worked to interface with the ancient systems. "These energy patterns are unlike anything in our database," he reported. "The restraints are sophisticated, but they're degrading. I'm detecting microfractures in the crystalline matrices." Dr. Wells carefully examined the symbols etched into the entity's surface. "I believe these are designation markers. This section here," she pointed to glyphs across what appeared to be the machine's chest, "might be its name or classification." Dr. Finch studied the markings. "Chronos," he translated slowly. "At least, that's the closest approximation in our language." The ground trembled again, more violently this time. Several of the restraint pylons flickered, their energy fields momentarily weakening. "That's not good," Patel said, checking his readings. "The tremors are accelerating the degradation of the containment system. At this rate, total failure is imminent, perhaps within hours." Commander Whitlock immediately activated his comm unit. Whitlock to surface team. Prepare emergency extraction protocols. We may need immediate, static cut through his transmission. Something's blocking our signals, Officer Drake reported, checking her own communications device. We're cut off. Another tremor, stronger than before, shook the chamber. One of the restraint pylons cracked, its energy field collapsing entirely. In response, the entity, Kronos, twitched, a barely perceptible movement that sent everyone stepping back. It's waking up, Dr. Finch whispered, equal parts terrified and fascinated. After who knows how many millennia. We need to stabilize the remaining restraints, Dr. Wells said urgently. Patel, can we reroute power from our equipment to reinforce the containment field? Before Patel could answer, 3 more pylons failed in rapid succession. The entity's massive form shifted, metal and synthetic tissue creaking as systems long dormant began to reactivate. Too late, Commander Whitlock said grimly, positioning himself between the researchers and the awakening machine. Drake, prepare for hostile engagement. Everyone else, fall back to the tunnel entrance. But Dr. Finch remained transfixed, watching as the entity's systems continued powering up. Something was happening, a soft glow emanating from within its core, pulsing like a heartbeat. It's scanning us, he realized suddenly. Assessing whether we're threats. The final restraints were failing now, the ancient technology giving way after centuries of operation. As the last energy field flickered out, Kronos dropped heavily to the chamber floor, landing in a crouch that shook the entire cavern. For a moment, nothing moved. The humans stood frozen, weapons raised or bodies tense to flee. Then, slowly, Kronos raised its head, a featureless helmet-like structure with what appeared to be an optical band where eyes should be. The band illuminated with a soft blue light as it swept across the researchers. It rose to its full height, towering over them. Various components throughout its body hummed as weapon systems prepared to engage. Nobody move, Commander Whitlock ordered quietly. No sudden movements. Against all protocol, Dr. Finch stepped forward, hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. We mean you no harm, he said, hoping against hope that the entity could understand. We are researchers, explorers. The consciousness awakens. The chamber fell silent as Kronos' mental voice echoed in their minds. Dr. Finch stood motionless, hands still raised, as the massive war machine studied him with unsettling intensity. I didn't intend to free you, Dr. Finch responded cautiously. The restraint system was failing. We were merely exploring. Kronos took a thunderous step forward, causing Commander Whitlock and Officer Drake to raise their weapons defensively. The ancient machine paid them no attention, focusing entirely on Dr. Finch. Intent irrelevant. Result remains. Its mental voice was strange, mathematical and precise yet carrying emotional undertones of relief and wariness. The Vesperian chains have weakened for centuries. Your presence accelerated the inevitable. Dr. Wells slowly approached, scanner still active in her trembling hands. The energy signatures are stabilizing, she whispered. It's calibrating its systems to non-combat parameters. Kronos' massive head swiveled toward her. Correct. Threat assessment, minimal. Primary weapons remain offline. Commander Whitlock maintained his defensive stance. That's reassuring, but it doesn't explain why the Vesperians went to such lengths to contain you. What exactly are you? A series of glyphs illuminated across Kronos' armor as internal mechanisms whirred to life. I am Guardian-class sentient defense system. Created by the architects to protect. Protect what? Dr. Finch asked, lowering his hands slowly. The key. Images suddenly flooded their minds, a crystalline object pulsing with energy, hidden deep beneath the planet's surface. The Vesperians discovered me. Attempted to bypass my protocols. Failed. Feared my purpose. Imprisoned me. Another tremor shook the chamber, stronger than before. Dust and debris showered from the ceiling as the team struggled to maintain balance. "Something's coming," Patel warned, checking his equipment. "Massive energy signature moving through the tunnel system toward us." Kronos' optical band flared red. "Harvesters. They have detected my reactivation." "What are harvesters?" Officer Drake demanded, checking her weapons charge. "Ancient enemies. Autonomous hunters. They seek what I guard." Kronos turned toward the tunnel entrance, weapon systems beginning to hum with activation despite its earlier claim. "You must flee deeper. I will hold them." The tremors intensified, growing rhythmic, like massive footsteps approaching. From the tunnel came grinding mechanical sounds, metal scraping against stone. "We're not leaving without answers," Dr. Finch insisted. "If there's something valuable enough to warrant this level of protection." Without warning, Kronos reached out with surprising speed, its massive hand engulfing Dr. Finch's head. The others shouted in alarm, but before they could react, a surge of energy passed between them. "Dar!" Finch gasped, dropping to his knees as Kronos withdrew. "Now you understand," the machine stated, turning back toward the tunnel entrance as the sounds grew louder. "The neural link is established. Your mind can comprehend my purpose." Dr. Finch blinked rapidly, overwhelmed by the flood of information suddenly accessible in his thoughts. "The key," he whispered. "It's not a weapon. It's something far more important." Before he could explain further, the tunnel entrance exploded inward as something massive forced its way through.
Hunters from beyond. The massive form that burst through the tunnel entrance was a nightmarish fusion of ancient technology and adaptive construction. Standing nearly 20 feet tall, the harvester resembled a six-limbed insectoid machine with no discernible head, just a cluster of sensory apparatus where a face might be. Its surface gleamed with an oily iridescence that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Harvester," Kronos' voice resonated in their minds. "Ancient autonomous hunter. Seeks energy sources. Particular affinity for architect technology." The harvester paused at the chamber entrance, its sensors scanning methodically before focusing on Kronos and the humans. A harsh mechanical sound emanated from its core, not quite language but clearly a form of communication. "It's analyzing us," Patel whispered, his scanner displaying incomprehensible readings. "I've never seen technology like this. It's not just mechanical, there's something almost organic about its construction." Commander Whitlock positioned his team behind a fallen section of ceiling. "Drake, prepare to provide covering fire. Everyone else, identify an exit route." Dr. Finch remained transfixed, the neural link with Kronos flooding his mind with contextual information. "It's not just one harvester," he said urgently. "They operate in clusters. This is just a scout." As if confirming his words, the harvester emitted a pulsing signal that echoed through the chamber. In the distance, they heard responses, multiple mechanical entities converging on their location. "What exactly is it harvesting?" Dr. Wells asked, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her fear. "Energy. Technology. Knowledge." Kronos stepped forward, positioning its massive frame between the humans and the harvester. "They are remnants of a purge protocol gone rogue. Their original masters are long extinct, but their directive continues: collect architect technology for study and replication." The harvester suddenly surged forward with shocking speed for something so large. Kronos met its charge, the two titans colliding with devastating force. The ground beneath the research team shook from the impact as ancient war machine and autonomous hunter grappled in deadly combat. "This way!" Dr. Finch called out, suddenly aware of a hidden passage revealed through his connection with Kronos. "There's a maintenance tunnel behind that rock formation, it leads deeper into the complex." As Kronos and the harvester battled, tearing at each other with terrifying efficiency, the research team raced toward the concealed opening. Officer Drake provided covering fire, her pulse rifle's energy bolts seeming to do minimal damage but temporarily disrupting the harvester's sensory systems. "What about Kronos?" Dr. Wells asked as they reached the hidden passage. "We can't just leave it. Go deeper," Kronos's mental voice commanded, even as it tore one of the harvester's limbs free in a shower of strange fluid and sparking components. "Find the chamber below. I will rejoin when possible." Commander Whitlock ushered the team into the narrow passage. "Move now." "That's an order." The last glimpse they had of the chamber showed Kronos driving the damaged harvester back toward the main entrance, just as two more mechanical monstrosities began forcing their way through. The maintenance tunnel descended sharply, winding through the planet's crust. Unlike the ceremonial passages above, this was purely functional, designed for efficiency rather than reverence. The team moved as quickly as they dared, their helmet lights casting eerie shadows on the ancient walls. "What exactly did Kronos show you?" Commander Whitlock asked Dr. Finch as they descended. Dr. Finch touched the side of his head, still feeling the lingering effects of the neural connection. "It's hard to explain, like having access to an entire library of information but only being able to view one page at a time. The architects were an ancient species, possibly the first intelligent life in our galaxy. They seeded technology throughout the cosmos before disappearing. And this key that Kronos was guarding?" Dr. Wells pressed. "Not a literal key," Dr. Finch explained. "It's a nexus point. A technology so advanced it can bridge realities, connect minds across vast distances. The Vesperians discovered it but couldn't control it. When they tried to harness its power directly, it rebounded catastrophically. So they locked away the Guardian instead," Raj Patel concluded. "Easier to contain Kronos than the technology it was protecting." The passage suddenly widened, opening into another chamber, smaller than the one above but no less impressive. At its center stood a crystalline structure that pulsed with soft, multicolored light. Unlike the brutal utility of the harvesters or the warlike design of Kronos, this technology was elegant, almost beautiful in its complexity. "The Nexus Core, Dr. Finch whispered, approaching the floating crystal. "What Kronos was created to protect." Dr. Wells's scanner went haywire as she tried to analyze the object. "These readings make no sense. It exists partially in dimensions we can't even detect. According to this, it's both here and somewhere else simultaneously." A violent tremor shook the chamber, sending small rocks tumbling from the ceiling. Above them, they could hear the distant sounds of battle, Kronos engaging the harvesters in the upper levels. "It's losing," Officer Drake said grimly. "There are too many of them." Dr. Finch moved closer to the Nexus Core, drawn by an inexplicable familiarity, as though the object were calling to him specifically. "Kronos didn't just share information with me," he realized. "It was preparing me." "Preparing you for what?" Commander Whitlock demanded. Before Dr. Finch could answer, a section of wall collapsed. Through the dust and debris emerged a heavily damaged harvester, two of its limbs missing but still functional enough to pose a deadly threat. Its sensory cluster fixed immediately on the Nexus Core, emitting a series of rapid clicks and whirs. "Target detected," it announced in a harsh synthetic voice, the first time any of the machines had used verbal communication. "Surrendering the architect node is recommended. Resistance will be terminated." Officer Drake opened fire immediately, her pulse bolt striking the damaged harvester with greater effect than before. "Get back from that thing, Dr. Finch." But Dr. Finch stood his ground between the harvester and the Nexus Core, a strange calm settling over him. Through the neural link, faint but persistent, he could still sense Kronos, fighting its way down to them, but too far away to intervene in time. "The core chooses its guardians," he said, the knowledge rising from somewhere deep within the transferred memories. "That's what the Vesperians never understood. They tried to take its power by force." The harvester advanced despite the continued weapons fire. "Final warning. Surrender the node. Dr. Finch turned to the floating crystal, placing his hands on either side of it, not quite touching its surface. It has to be freely given and freely accepted. Finch, get away from there. Commander Whitlock shouted. That's an order. But Dr. Finch had already made his decision. With a deep breath, he grasped the Nexus core firmly between his palms. Instantly, energy surged through his body, not painful but overwhelming in its intensity. The core's light flared blindingly bright, enveloping him completely. Through the radiance, the team could see the crystal seeming to dissolve, its substance flowing into Dr. Finch's body like liquid light. The harvester lunged forward, but too late. The transformation was already underway.